Hey beautiful people, it's Ashley here from Elemental Growth, and I want to talk to you about setting intentions when you're using psychedelics. Specifically, I'm talking about the stage 1 psychedelics, the one that most people are like, oh yeah, that's nothing, smoking a joint, that's nothing, taking mushrooms at a party, that's nothing, oh, Salvia, DMT, those things, they only last a couple minutes, it means it's nothing, there is no, there needs to be no prep work, there needs to be no integration afterwards. And it's like the truth is, these are psychedelics. They work with your mind, with your psyche, with your psychic abilities, your powers that you have inside of you that you've been oppressed from. They just help you connect and get in tuned with your mission and your purpose in life. So if you are using these things, it's really good to be honoring them and using them as a tool, making sure that you're going through the process regardless. Many of my friends and clients know already that I've been working with a mentor of mine, Dr. Dan Engel. I'm learning from him every Wednesday right now, which is really incredible. And this was one big topic that came up in the Zoom call yesterday, was just this integration part, and that it's not well known or well established in the culture today to be going through this process. When you're just using regular psychedelics, some other ones might include coffee, include chocolate. A lot of you guys don't realize that those are psychedelics too. And so it doesn't really matter what it is, but let me just tell you what it is that I do in my own life. I'm going to just use marijuana as an example, but let me just say before I start that just because I'm setting intentions when using marijuana doesn't mean you need to be using these substances to be setting these kinds of intentions regardless, okay? So, you can set intentions on things on your everyday life. This is not saying that in order to make these things happen, you need to use the psychedelics. I'm making this video for the people who are using them, not for the people who are not. So I just want to help you guys who are using them, use them in a way that's going to support you and help you. Not hinder you. They're not for everybody. So I'm going to leave it at there, and I'm going to move on to my own direct experience. So marijuana is a drug that I have been using since I was probably like even 10 or 11. Like, I was really young the first time that I smoked it. But that being said, I did take about 4 years of my life. I guess that would have been just after high school. I left high school early, and it was around that time that I quit smoking weed all the way up until after I'd left college. There was no weed in there. It started just affecting me in a wrong way, and I drank a lot. And I don't know if you guys realize, but a lot of drinkers that you may talk to, they'll say that they don't smoke weed. It's not very often that you see a drinker who's also chronic. It's usually one or the other. And I tipped the scale around college time, where I was drinking. I was in the hospitality tourism industry. I was partying a lot. Cannabis, I wasn't really using, and because I wasn't using it, it started making me feel funny, or I wouldn't be as high. I know they call it a high, but cannabis is more of like an earth energy. It's for me personally is more of a grounding tool. And at those times when I was drinking, I was so high. It's like a demonic possession almost. You're just have this other thing inside of you, and that's why I'll call spirits. If you guys didn't know, I'm going a little hippy dippy on you. We can talk about that in another video, but let me just say that I didn't like that the cannabis would bring me down to a lower level when I was drinking. Meanwhile, that's what the medicine was there to do, was to even me out. I just didn't accept it into my life. So I did take 4 years off when it might have even been longer than that, but it was at least 4 years where I did not smoke at all. And then I started having crazy nightmares that haunted me since childhood. and they started coming back. I know now at this time in my life that was a sign that, I had to start exploring these things, but I wasn't ready. So I started smoking cannabis again. It did help me sleep. It did help me sleep right through the night. Now when I continue to use cannabis, but not just for those reasons. There are tons of people who are using cannabis for different things, using it for sleep, using it for a post-chemo treatment, using it to prevent cancer, to treat cancer, using it to help with their appetite, using it to help with their pain. There are tons of people using cannabis for different reasons, and most of them are setting the intention that this is to heal me. So when they're holding the cannabis in their hand, when they're grinding it, they're saying this is medicine. That's setting an intention, saying this is going to come into my body, and this is gonna help relieve my pain. That is setting an intention. And I think we need to do that prep work regardless, even if we're using it casually. I still use cannabis in my life, and the way that I set intentions today, is that, I'm using it to be more present, to be more focused, get more creative, to be focused in my creative efforts. When I'm using it now, I'm using it as that grounding tool to ground me into whatever project it is that I'm doing. And I don't use it every day, but I do use it most days, I think. And so when I'm making sure that there's an intention there. And I also do the integration work afterwards. When it starts wearing off 4 hours later, it's like, it's not, oh, I need to smoke another one. Sometimes it is. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. If this is the tool that you choose to use. It's not for everybody. And, this could be coffee for you. This could be chocolate for you. This could be anything. Setting the intention, making sure it's a good quality, something that's homegrown, something that's connected with nature. These are all really important aspects into this. If you want to be using these things to help you, this is a key ingredient to making that happen. I love you guys. I would love to talk more about this, but I've gone over. I try to keep these videos short, and I just blah, blah, blah. So I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.